So I wanted to just reiterate a little bit about the criteria for the reflective essay. Again, you're going to start with a story, perhaps beginning with the moment in which the conflict begins, or the moment of unfairness or inequity or injustice begins. You're going to have to determine how much background information you'll need to give. But when all is said and done, I think the reflective essay, with the narration in particular, should not really be more than a page, page and a half. If it goes much longer than that, it's going to probably compromise the reflection itself. So that would be my thought with it. And again, this will be an exercise in trying to be concise and telling a story as well. For those students out there who do not have much experience with the story, you can certainly work with me on this, but you can begin with dialogue. Perhaps somebody said something. You can create a setting, tell when it happens, when and where it happens. I remember somebody talking about being on a school bus and being picked on, and just began with the school bus pulling up to the corner bus stop, and it worked out pretty well with regards to the event itself. The example I shared about the girl who went with her parents to the fireworks display at Fairfax High School, she began as they started to climb up towards the bleacher seats. So again, that's a thought. She could have also began it with what the individual had said to her father, but again, it's going to be your choice. If you begin with what was said, then you'll have to give some background information. With my example about Ferdinand the Bull, I began with the performance ending, the applause, the curtain came down, and then what happened backstage. And with the example that from the student, which talked about her leaving in the middle of a conversation, she began with a bit of the dialogue that she was having with her friend and then stopped it abruptly. So there's various ways to work with this. Again, it's going to be an anecdotal introduction. So once the story is told, you want to think about yourself. Look out and think about what you just either participated in or what you've observed, and what does it say about your own behavior? What does it say about perhaps your own beliefs regarding this type of injustice? And again, in terms of whether you were involved with it or whether you were a participant in it. With regards to my own example of Ferdinand the Bull, I tried to suggest why people perhaps didn't hang out with Johnny Robinson, what kind of individual he was, how he was different, as I begin to introduce the idea, or the topic, I guess, of racial prejudice in my piece. Oftentimes with the self as well, you might begin to question, what did I do? What did I do to deserve this? Or why did I behave in this particular fashion? Again, it's all going to revolve around what event you chose, and as I suggested yesterday, choose something that has some substance to it. Perhaps something you haven't thought about in a while, and through writing you will be able to make meaning or perhaps make sense of your own experience. From here, you're going to look at those around you, the others involved. It could have been the innocent victims that you maybe picked on, or it just could have been why nobody did anything while this event happened. So, think about their behavior. Why do you think they behaved in this particular fashion? Why didn't they do anything, or why did they do something? What prompts people to either get involved or not get involved? And then ultimately, we're moving to the substance of the piece, the most important part, the hallmark of the reflection, and that's the human condition. What does it say about the human condition? Again, we used our incident as the pebble going into the pond, and when we look at the oscillations as they go farther away from ourselves, we become into thinking about the general population, the average person, the human condition. In my example, I tried to address the idea of, where did racial prejudice come from? Who taught it to us? Is there a solution for it? With the student essay, she got into issues of power, perhaps fear. Again, we're thinking of the bigger issues here with regards to your small moment. So from your microcosm moment, We're looking at it much more macroscopically. We're looking at the larger ideas. Similar to Golding's novel, the boys on the island were a microcosm of the world at large, but of course we saw bigger issues with issues of evil and fear, and when we talked about this in the seminar. Okay, and of course, as you ask the questions, which are going to be the springboards for taking your thinking deeper and deeper, you may not have any solution, and that's fine, but try to perhaps speculate what a possible answer might be to these really deep questions, these thought-provoking questions that will likely begin with why, or how, or in what way. So we want to really have open-ended questions in our piece. And as you begin the reflection, again, from time to time, refer back to the event itself. Don't lose sight of that, because as you're looking at it from a distance, as you're looking at it through your reflection, you might be able to see more intricate details as to what happened, and then, of course, why it happened. All right, so again, you may want to start thinking about particular events. As always, I'm here to help you. I'd love to help you on this paper, and basically ask you questions about the incident itself. Okay? So there you have it, some more details about the reflective essay.